Today, I'm going to talk about my favorite 2 varieties of spinach, why I love them, and why they have to be in your garden. Let's go. So when it comes to spinach, there's a lot of different varieties, but I've always planted 2. And the reason why I've planted these 2 varieties is because of a couple different reasons. Now, a lot of you write in asking for some suggestions on specific varieties to add to your garden. And I know that right now we're kind of not really in the season for spinach, but because they look so beautiful, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about them. That way, hopefully you could bookmark this video and add them to your garden either in the fall or next spring. So these 2 rows here are different varieties of spinach. And the reason why I love them so much is because of not only their performance, but their flavor, and also just how incredible they grow in our garden and have always grown in our garden. This one right here is known as Bloomsdale Longstanding. Now this is kind of a household name variety. It's been an heirloom variety for possibly hundreds of years. It's been a very long-standing favorite. Now the thing I love about Bloomsdale Longstanding is that it is a more spear-shaped spinach. It starts out lobed. There are 2 different varieties of spinach, by the way. There are lobed leaf spinach and spear leaf spinach. And now the younger leaves will fool you to think that it's lobed leafed. However, as it gets older, it does form more spear-shaped leaves. Now the reason why I love a good spear-shaped leaf spinach is because it makes a wonderful wilting spinach. We will actually predominantly grow this variety in early season for basically just wilting down to add to things like quiches, omelets. You could even wilt it down and freeze it for smoothies. It is just really awesome. Now, as it gets older, it does get a little more fibrous and stringy, so it produces an absolute ton of spinach. And because it is more of an early season spinach, it allows us to get out in the garden earlier, before most of the garden is even growing, grow a ton of food in a small area, and as we cut the leaves back, this is probably the 3rd or 4th cutting we've done on this, and it just keeps regrowing. Just like a lot of our lettuce, we'll do cut and come again, where we gather the leaves, trim it back, and it keeps regrowing. And this is such a heavy hitter in our garden. This produces probably about 60% of our spinach that we eat from our garden. So this is Bloomsdale Longstanding spinach that we planted last fall. Now, believe it or not, this completely overwintered here with no protection at all, which is another reason why I absolutely love it. So as you can see, this is starting to go to seed, but that's to be expected for a fall planted spinach. Now, what happens is the warm weather ends up kind of shocking it and sends it going to seed, but that's not without its harvest. We've harvested from this about 6 different times. As it started to get bigger, the leaves have gotten a little bit smaller, but we're still coming in here and harvesting all of this spinach. And when you wilt it down, it really breaks down a lot of those fibrous leaves. And in all honesty, even though it's gotten a little bit taller, a tad bit more bitter, it's still palatable even as is. I mean, I wouldn't lie to you, I have nothing to lie behind. So, you know, we could throw this in salads just fine, but this variety right here, it can produce a ton of spinach that you can then wilt down, like I said, freeze or use in your cooking fresh. It's just awesome. This is one of my more favorite varieties of spinach to grow for those reasons. All right, and the second variety of spinach that we always have in our garden is this variety right here. This is the American spinach. Now, I consider the American spinach to be a true lobed leaf spinach. As the plants get older, they still will take on a slight spear shape to them, but all spinach will do that. These right here, no matter how large the leaves get, they will stay a nice kind of rounded leaf. They're not quite as glossy as the Bloomsdale Longstanding is. As you can see, they look a little more pale green, but they are absolutely one of the most buttery, soft spinaches you can ever grow. Now, we grow these predominantly for baby spinach for spring greens. The texture is out of this world. It is so buttery, so soft, and honestly, if you threw just these into a salad, I'd eat it all day. There's nothing bitter about it, even when it starts to get a little bit older. But here's the kicker. These go to seed about 3 weeks later than the Bloomsdale Longstanding, meaning they're gonna be in the garden about 3 weeks longer, allowing you to grow more food, enjoy more of your garden, and they produce a lot of food. Now, the final reason why I like to add both of these to my garden is to kind of just summarize what we already talked about, and that's that these 2 varieties, when grown together in combination in our garden, allow us to start in the fall of the previous season, grow basically all through winter, harvesting when weather is warm and permitting, into spring, then because they produce a ton and we can also reseed as well, we could start earlier in the season. They like that colder weather. Then as the springtime kind of progresses, as our kind of fall and winter spring crop gets done, we could plant a mid-season crop or a mid-spring crop of American spinach, which is gonna grow probably until about early June. And so we can literally have spinach into our garden from about October, November time, all the way until about June. That is an incredible way to grow a ton of food utilizing just 2 varieties. Now there's a lot of other varieties kind of similar. These are just the 2 that we've fallen in love with. By all means, MIgardener.com has 9 different varieties of spinach. They're all amazing. These are just the ones that we add to our garden, and we found that in our situation allows us to grow the most food in the smallest amount of space for the most amount of time in our growing season. So I hope you guys will try these 2 varieties. Like I said, they're just ones that we've grown, and I think you'll really like them as well. So let me know in the comments box down below if you've tried these varieties, how you've liked them, and some other varieties of spinach you've really come to enjoy. So as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. Take care, bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider checking this one out. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I wanna thank you so much for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's free. Consider doing that. We upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, rain or shine. And if you need any garden tools, supplies, or seeds, check out MIgardener.com. We got you covered. See you guys in the garden. Bye.